The recent backlash related to Cody Rhodes winning the title is evidence that the audience of the show have no idea what the fuck they want. They want Drew McIntyre to keep the title only because they think in their minds, in this fake sport, Drew McIntyre has worked harder than Cody Rhodes. And they've already seen Cody Rhodes with the title for a really long time, so they just want to see somebody new. It's always just this if you think about it. They just want to see somebody new, man. The only reason Cody Rhodes got the support from the crowd was because they wanted to see somebody new. The only reason Daniel Bryan got the support that he got was because they wanted to see somebody new. If Dolph Ziggler got the push in 2014 that Daniel Bryan got, nobody would have had an issue. If Dolph Ziggler was the guy or CM Punk was the guy who got the push in 2014, nobody would have had an issue, man. Nobody. Now, CM Punk at that time obviously had a really long title reign that he was coming out of, but it doesn't make a difference because he was never the main draw anyway. They wanted to see somebody new as the main draw, but the fact is this. If somebody better is not there, there is no reason for a replacement, okay? And now, I'm not saying Cody is better than Drew McIntyre, but Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton is a better match than Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. That's just a fact, man. I don't care if anybody wants to admit this or not. Now, this company did fuck up as it always does. They had Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton fight each other a few months ago, but they should have waited for WrestleMania. That's the thing, right? They claim that they do this long-term booking thing, but it's never really evident if you think about it. They had no idea what the main event of WrestleMania is gonna be. They did not have any idea. If they did, Randy versus Cody would have not happened fucking 10 months ago. That doesn't make any sense. It happened back then because they did not think that this will be the main event of WrestleMania. I think they were probably trying to go for Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins, but both these motherfuckers got injured. Ideally, I think that's what they were trying to go for. So now we have Randy versus Cody, which is a much better main event, but that was their backup plan for some reason. So that's gonna happen. CM Punk obviously is gonna main event night one. Who gives a fuck? So now, there is a lot of backlash that this company is facing as always because they didn't do what the fans wanted. It's just so tiring, man. Like, it made sense once, okay? Daniel Bryan, alright, sure. It happened once, alright? So that's unique. It only happened once. But the fact that it keeps happening every fucking 2 years, man, now it's getting a bit annoying. It happened with Cody, and I think it was the right thing. They should have gone with Cody, even though Cody Rhodes sucks as a champion. The reason I say this is because Cody Rhodes was the guy who wanted to finish his story, so to say, and that's the story that they were trying to tell for like almost 2 years at that point. So you cannot just fucking replace that with something else at the very last moment. It just spoils the narrative. Even if you do get a great main event in exchange of that, it still spoils the narrative. And it's a bit unfortunate, man. Timing is a bitch, I know. But in my opinion, they had to go with Cody and Roman because that's the story they were telling. And story comes first. Rock versus Roman could have happened without the title as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. And if they wanted to do Rock versus Roman, maybe Cody could have won the title at WrestleMania 39. I don't know why they dragged it out for one more year if they wanted to do Rock versus Roman. So again, they fucked up in some way at some point. But right now, the only reason people want to see Drew McIntyre is because they think Drew McIntyre in some way is the underdog, right? So that's why they want to see Drew McIntyre. The same thing with Cody Rhodes back in the day against The Rock. He was the lesser guy, so to say, in terms of booking. Even otherwise, but you know what I mean. Same thing with Daniel Bryan back in 2014. He was the lesser guy compared to Randy Orton and Batista. It's the same fucking thing. They want the lesser guy, the guy who's them in real life. They want that guy to main event WrestleMania every single fucking time, right? And I'm just talking about lesser guy in the sense of how they're placed in the card. And obviously these dumb fucks in real life are the lesser person everywhere they go. So they want to vicariously live through this so-called lesser guy, whoever that may be in whatever context. And that's just that, man. It's so fucking annoying. Again, as I said, happened once, understandable, right? Because it's just once. But it cannot just keep on happening every single time. These people have no idea what they want. Are you really suggesting that Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton is a better match than Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton? Despite the fact that Cody and Randy faced each other like 10 months ago, the fact that they can have a good storyline going into WrestleMania in the 1 month that they have, I'm sure they won't because this company has no idea how to tell the story, but there is potential here. way more potential than McIntyre versus Randy Orton. These two don't really have much of a history anyway, so what story are you gonna tell? You have two world title matches at WrestleMania. One of them does not have a story. Roman and CM Punk. Now you can act like there is a story there. There isn't. You know there isn't. Okay. Then you have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. There is a story here. You can actually expand this story. You can do something. Most likely one of the two guys is gonna turn heel. I don't know who. Most likely it's gonna be Randy Orton. There is something that can be done here, man. One thing that is getting a bit annoying is the fact that Cody Rhodes has main evented like 4 or 5 WrestleManias at this point, and he's always been the B side, right? Roman Reigns was the A side when they were facing. John Cena obviously was the A side, and now Randy Orton's the A side. It's always A side versus B side, who is Cody Rhodes. And just like that, he has main evented like fucking 5 WrestleManias now. That's a bit annoying, but the facts are the facts, man. This company is not doing that well right now in terms of booking. So Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the title is a better option than McIntyre versus Randy Orton. And for that, McIntyre needs to lose the fucking title. And the title needs to change hands more frequently. That's how it works, man. For all we know, Orton wins the title at WrestleMania, and then a few months later, he loses the title. That's how it's supposed to work. I am so sick of these extremely long reigns as well. That's another thing. People need to lose the titles. It only makes sense. The idea is that you face somebody new every week through live events or whatever the fuck, and at some point you start burning out, right? So eventually, it's not a big deal if you lose a match, let's say, at some random given night, and then a few months later you go back and you win the title again. That's the implication. Every once in a while you have a long reign, like with Roman Reigns, fine, but every reign doesn't need to be 1 or 2 years long. It doesn't make any sense. The point is this, man. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes is the better main event. Just because you wanted to see McIntyre for a bit longer as champion is not a good enough reason to let go of a main event that's better than the one we would have had if McIntyre was the champion.